So we've done all these other quests with no luck in finding the sheep squatch. This last one, which I guess I never really pointed this out, it shows you where to go. Kind of. Like those are where the missing hikers were. Up there's where the missing girls were. And the pre-blows were here. So this last one's pointing us down here. And it's Unsolved sighting at Thomas Farm. Sighting, mysterious creature, last seen, Thomas Farm. Facts, a report in the Charleston Herald described a strange, unnatural, white-colored creature spotted near Thomas Farm. They sent a reporter to look into it. Sheep squatch? When approached, the farmer's lone resident, Bill Thomas, angrily demanded to be left alone, saying that he, quote, meant no harm by it, end quote, and had only, quote, the best of intentions, end quote. Hoax? Check out farm. Notes. What does he mean? He sounds guilty. Maybe about some connection to the sheep squatch. This definitely merits a closer look. And it begins the quest, best of intentions. And there's only the one note about this one, unlike the other ones that all had an additional note. A note in Van Low Taxidermy referred to sightings of unnatural white creatures near the Thomas Farm. I should check the place out. Search for clues at Thomas Farm. So Thomas Farm is unmarked, and it's all the way down here to the south. So we're going to go to Dent and Sons and head over. Okay, we're here at Dent and Sons Construction. Oh. We're gonna follow this road, the 101, till we reach the farm, which is just right here. Okay. So just like the farms in the Toxic Valley, there seems to be this little aerosol dispenser that I believe is supposed to shoot the pesticide into the... Oh, okay. Albino radstags. 6 of them? 5 of them? 6 of them. I mean, they're not hostile, so... Search for clues around the farm. What is a chemical barrel? Glyphosate, 55 gallons for aerosolizer use only. So Bill was putting whatever this was called, glyphosate, into his aerosol canister. Okay, what's upstairs? Turn on my light. Oh, what is this? A glowing jar. Winston Cure number 3 for intravenous application. Well, we don't know who Winston is. Cures. 1, no. 2, no. 3, maybe? And he has a periodic table. He also has a marksman's rifle. Here. There's also a terminal here, but we don't want to go to the terminal yet, because terminals normally progress story. So was he sleeping up here in his barn? Why wasn't he sleeping in his house? Let's go to his house. Okay, they are hostile. Okay. I guess I could have just pacified it. Or not. You want to play along? No? Well, then you die. So this does make me question. So we can run into the observant radstag, which is a random encounter, and it's not hostile to us. But it's also an albino radstag. Okay, here's his truck. So his truck is here. Along with... Oh, is this him? Are you Bill? It's supposed to be a septic tank. And then his bathroom stuff all seems to have been outside? Or it was knocked outside. Oh, it must have been upstairs. Okay. Veterinary diagnosis sheet. Oh, Winston must have been his dog. Lewisburg Veterinary Clinic. Patient diagnosis sheet. Again, we never found a vet in Lewisburg, just like there's no police station. I don't know why. Patient information. Name, Winston. Breed, Pointer. Age, 13 years. Admitting diagnosis symptoms. Weight loss. Lack of appetite. Loss of stamina. Procedures. Physical exam. Blood testing. Diagnosis. Large cell lymphoma. Discharge instructions. Recommended follow-up at Appalachia Veterinary Specialty Center to discuss treatment. Doctor's signature, A.C. Olson. So Winston was dying of a disease. Oh, chemical testing kit. And what was his name again? Bill. Bill decided he was going to try to cure it himself. Bicycle and another car. He lived here alone. And there are numerous vehicles here. And there's a dead girl who sank into the ground. But she was on a swing. But again, it said Bill lived here alone. Why are there two dead bodies here? Because we could assume that the male is Bill. Oh, and a wheelchair. I don't think Bill would have been in a wheelchair living here alone and going upstairs to do his science. I also just walked past and didn't notice this note. Relocation note. If anyone comes looking for me, I've taken Winston out to our hunting cabin. I don't think he's going to make it, and that's his favorite place, so I figured he should spend his last days there. Oh, so this is what would have progressed us forward. So Bill left, and these are probably squatters, people that came to his home and were using it when the bombs fell. I just know you're going to be hostile, so I'll just kill you now. Okay, so I guess all that's left now is to read the terminal to find out what exactly he was putting into the aerosol dispenser and shooting into the air in the hopes it would cure Winston. Mr. Thomas's terminal. Reminder, chemical drum labels. Note to self, replace the worn labels on the drums. Don't want to end up spraying the wrong stuff somewhere. Oh. So he was probably not spraying the cure, and he was, whatever that glosso stuff is, he was spraying that. What was this? Aerosolizer maintenance. Refilled the aerosolizer today. A good amount of residue builds up at the bottom of the tank. Note to self, collect residue samples, analyze any imperfections with my formula, testing kits in the house. Journal. Something's not right. I woke up at dawn like I usually do to get a head start on the sun. It's usual for a couple of deer to find their way into the field, but these weren't looking right. Their hides were filled with lesions and they were bleach white. I tried scaring them off like I usually do, and one of them charged me. The deer didn't do too much damage. The crops are fine. I'm going to wrap things up and head back up to the house, see how Winston's doing this morning. Promise. Finally, some good news. I was starting to get discouraged after tests 1 and 2 showed 0 positive effects. Started feeling really bad about sticking Winston with needles for no reason, but cure number 3 shows promise. The old boys actually walked the rows with me today for the first time in months. Maybe this will be the one. Diagnosis. Got back from Winston's vet appointment today. The diagnosis is on the end table. Well, it wasn't. It was on the wall, wasn't it? But I think I read these not in the correct order. I just can't accept it. Winston's been my best bud since Mary passed. If they don't have a cure, then I'll make one myself. I've got a Vault Tech University chemistry degree. Heck, my farm's successful because I know the science of it all. I'm going to do all I can to help him. Well, good thing he's got that chemistry degree. So there was no chemical testing kit when we were in the house because we were supposed to come here first. But what is glyphosate? Let me grab my phone real quick. Glyphosate. Not what I said. Like, is it a real chemical? It is. So it's just an herbicide. So there's no other barrels here. So spraying the herbicide seems fine. If there were other barrels, then that would make what he said make sense. Like he put the wrong stuff into the air. None of these have labels on them, but they're green barrels. So I'm not getting what he sprayed into the air. If they added a different barrel label, it would make more sense. Okay. Let's go ahead and find this chemistry thing. So it was what was on the this. I guess I didn't try taking it. Take. None of that's changed, but we do now have to collect a chemical sample from the aerolyzer. You can get cranberries here, and it's not in the bog or in the forest. Pesticide aerosolizer. Collect sample. This looks like a standard aerosolizer used on many farms. Upon further inspection, you find chemical residue in the tank. Analyze the chemical sample. That glowing blue liquid does seem kind of familiar. Analyze sample. Beginning analysis. Analyzing. Analysis complete. Substance contains compounds that suggest pharmacological applications. Presence of antibiotic and antiparasitic agents suggests possible veterinary medication. So he put his veterinary medication into the aerosol container. Why did he get a full tub of animal medicine? So this is the other barrel, I'm guessing. This is what he put in there. Because that's the only other... Oh, there's 2 more over here. Those are the only other barrels he has here. While investigating the Thomas farm following a report of strange white creatures, I found evidence that Farmer Thomas was experimenting with his aerosolizer and a note indicating that he'd gone to stay at an isolated hunting cabin with his dog. Learn the truth about the albino creatures. So I'm still not entirely sure what's going on, because why would pumping the air full of an animal curing agent turn these deer hostile and cause them to grow two heads? Like, that part doesn't make too much sense to me. And here's another truck. There are a lot of people who just came here and started squatting once he left. So now we need to go find his hunting cabin. We got absolutely zero clues to where to find it. Oh, but apparently it's here. Near East Mountain Lookout, overlooking Kerwood Mine. Now, if you head a bit down the trail from the East Mountain Lookout, it continues downward, but it also goes to the side. So we're going to head that way. Oh, wait, no. Did I go the wrong way? Guess I went the wrong direction. Does this link to... Because he's up there. But nothing seems to actually go up there. So I guess we were supposed to drop down. Okay. Seems like an odd way to have your cabin, but it's fine. Because normally if you have a hunting cabin, you would want to pull a vehicle up so that you can load your kill, your meat. But he didn't seem to want to do that. Is there another way down over here? I'm going to trust that's what that is. Okay, there was another path over here. There we go. That makes more sense. Plus there was a path right here. Well, I guess let's find out what happened and what he did. Oh, here, there's a bear. Oh. There's a golf flag. A rad bear with a clipboard and a visor. Oh. This is not much of a hunting cabin, I will say that. But there's a single note, a confession note. And that ends the quest. I'm a damn fool, and I just made things worse. When Winston's drugs weren't working, I thought I should put them in the aerosolizer so he'd get exposed to the medicine all day long. Instead, all I did was cause the deer to mutate into something unnatural. I'm sorry to those deer. They didn't do nothing wrong. I had the best of intentions. I swear it, but all I did was make a mess of things. Now I don't want to go back to that farm and see the monsters I created. Hell, without Winston, I don't see the point of going on at all. And that completes the quest. Best of intentions. Well, unsolved best of intentions. So there's no vehicle here. Well, we do find an albino mongrel, a skeleton with a locket, so that has to have been Bill, and that's a locket with Mary in it. 2 old possums, 1 drank, 1 not drink, in a honey jar. And he was probably giving the honey to Winston. I don't think it's just gonna be a generic photo inside, right? Yeah. So then what was happening to Winston to have him turn into a mongrel? Because we know that mongrels are this way because of radiation. And I think there's an easy explanation for that. So we remember the jar was a glowing blue liquid. Okay, remembering that blue glow of chemical that he was using on Winston for the 3rd cure, we actually remember that that blue glow exists elsewhere. So here at AMS headquarters, we find something called ultracite. And when exposed to ultracite, a lot of things happen to animals, including the little lesions that appear on their bodies. What is causing the radiation? Is it just the ultracite? Can't be. But it's radiation that changed all of these creatures here. Radiation from either ultracite or just normal radiation. But as you can see, they were putting the ultracite in, pumping it into this room, infecting the creatures. And they would just go crazy. Well, they become more feral than they already were. As you can see by this bear that became a yaoguai after being infected with ultracite. And seeing as this whole game is about this concept of ultracite causing issues, I think it's a safe bet to say Farmer Thomas, got his hands on some ultracite and was using it to try to cure Winston, and just ended up turning Winston into a mongrel. And he ended up turning the deer into these crazed albino rad stag.